Hi all, welcome back. Our next interview question is like it is a basic interview question and ఈ క్వశ్చన్ లేకుండా అసలు మన ఇంటర్వ్యూయే కంప్లీట్ కాదు. వాట్ ఈస్ OOPS కాన్సెప్ట్? Abbreviation of OOP is object oriented programming. Object oriented programming is considered as a design methodology for building non-rigid software. In OOPS, every logic is written to get our work done, but represented in the form of objects. There are mainly 4 pillars of OOP. If all of these 4 features are present in programming, then the programming is called as perfect object oriented programming. ఇప్పుడు OOPSలో 4 మెయిన్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అన్నాం కదా, అవి abstraction, encapsulation, ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్, polymorphism. ఇప్పుడు ఈ అన్ని కాన్సెప్ట్స్ మనం డైలీ లైఫ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్తో యూజ్ చేసుకొని డిస్కస్ చేసుకుందాం. మనం OOPS కాన్సెప్ట్లోకి వెళ్ళే ముందు ఫస్ట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే ఏంటి, క్లాస్ అంటే ఏంటి తెలుసుకుందాము. వాట్ ఈజ్ అన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్? ఎనీ రియల్ వరల్డ్ ఎంటిటీ విచ్ హ్యావ్ సమ్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆర్ విచ్ కెన్ పర్ఫార్మ్ సమ్ టాస్క్ ఈజ్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. దిస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో కాల్డ్ అన్ ఇన్స్టాన్స్. ఏం లేదండి, కాపీ ఆఫ్ ఎంటిటీ ఇన్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్, అంతే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే. నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్. Class in OOP is a plan which describes the object. We call it a blueprint of how the object should be represented. Mainly a class would consist of a name, attributes and operations. Abstraction. Abstraction allows us to expose limited data and functionality of the objects publicly and hide the actual implementation. It is the most important pillar of OOPS. ఇప్పుడు మన డైలీ లైఫ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ని యూజ్ చేసుకొని అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్ని డిఫైన్ చేద్దాము. లైక్ ఇప్పుడు మనం ఎవరికైనా కాల్ చేయాలనుకోండి, లైక్ మనం ఫస్ట్ ఏం చేస్తాం, నంబర్ని మన నంబర్ ప్యాడ్లో ఎంటర్ చేస్తాము. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది అంటే ఇట్ ఇంటర్నల్లీ కాల్స్ ఎ మెథడ్ అండ్ కాన్కాటినేట్ ఆల్ ద నంబర్స్ అండ్ డిస్ప్లే ఇట్ ఆన్ ద స్క్రీన్. బట్ అది ఎలా జరుగుతుందో మనకు తెలియదు. అర్థమైంది కదండి? Dialing a number, it will call some method internally which concatenate the numbers and display it on screen, but what it is doing we don't know. And when we click on green button, it actually sends signal to calling person's mobile, but we are unaware of how it is doing. This is called an abstraction. In classes, we can create methods that can be called and used by the users of the class, but users will have no idea what these methods do internally. Next concept is encapsulation. Encapsulation is defined as process of enclosing one or more details from outside world through access right. It says how much access should be given to the particular details. Both abstraction and encapsulation works hand in hand because abstraction says what details to be made visible and encapsulation provides the level of access right to the visible details. Let us take an daily life example like Bluetooth. మనం జనరల్గా బ్లూటూత్ యూజ్ చేస్తూనే ఉంటాం కదా. Bluetooth which we usually have in it our mobile, right? When we switch on a Bluetooth, I am able to connect to another mobile or Bluetooth enabled devices, but I am not able to access other mobile features like dialing a number and accessing inbox etc. అంతే కదండి. బ్లూటూత్ మనం కనెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటాం, కానీ వాళ్ళ మొబైల్ నుంచి ఆపరేట్ చేయడానికి లైక్ మనం వేరే వాళ్ళకి కాల్ చేయడం కానీ వాళ్ళ ఇన్బాక్స్ మెసేజ్ చేయడం కానీ మనకి కుదరదు కదా. సో that is because Bluetooth has some Bluetooth feature has some limits, right? Polymorphism can be defined as ability of using the same name for doing different things. More precisely, we say it as many forms of single entity display a vital role in the concept of OOPS. For example, if Samsung mobile has a 5 megapixel camera available, that is it is having a functionality of camera click, right? Now same mobile is also having panorama mode available in the camera, right? So functionality would be same but with the mode. This type is said to be static polymorphism or compile time polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism, the compiler knows which overloaded method is going to call. Compiler checks the type and number of parameters passed to the method and decides which method to call, and it will give an error if there are no methods that matches the method signature of that method that is called at compile time. Another point where sending a message was intended to send message to a single person at a time, but suppose Nokia had given provision for sending message to a group at once, that is overriding the functionality to send a message to a group. This is called as dynamic polymorphism or runtime polymorphism. For overriding, you need to set the method which can be overridden to virtual, and its new implementation should be decorated with the override keyword. And the last concept is inheritance. Inheritance is the ability to extend functionality from base entity in new entity belonging to the same group. This will help us to reuse the functionality which is already defined before and extend into a new entity. For example, basic mobile functionality is to send a message, dial, and receive a call, right? So the branch of mobile is using the same basic functionality by extending the mobile class functionality and adding their new features to their respective brand. That is, adding their new own features to the respective brand. There are mainly 4 types of inheritance. First one is single level inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance, and also we have one more inheritance like multiple inheritance. Single level inheritance. In single level inheritance, there is a single base class and a single derived class. That is, a base mobile features is extended by Samsung brand. Multi-level inheritance. In multi-level inheritance, there is more than one single level of derivation. That is, after base features are extended by Samsung brand, now Samsung brand has manufactured its new model and added features or advanced. Hierarchical inheritance. In this type of inheritance, multiple derived class would be extended from base class. That is, it is similar to the single level inheritance, but this time along with the Samsung, Nokia is also taking part in inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. Single, multi-level and hierarchical inheritances all together construct a hybrid inheritance.